Hi, it's Keith. Let's talk about hypnosis, what it's good for, and one model for how it works. Let's get started. Our minds generate two broad categories of thoughts: conscious thoughts, and believe it or not, we're not aware of every thought we have, and those are unconscious thoughts. As a musician, I've often had the experience of looking down at my foot and noticing it was tapping in a rhythm, and therefore realizing there was a song going through my head that I wasn't aware of consciously. We have lots of thoughts that go on under the surface, and those are unconscious thoughts. You can liken the conscious and unconscious thoughts to the captain of a ship and the crew down below. While the captain is in charge in many ways, it's the crew down below that you don't see that often does the lion's share of the work. Now, when we learn a new skill, we often do it with conscious focus. In other words, we concentrate on it. We do it very slowly until we get the pattern down. Once we get it down, we can drop it into the unconscious mind and have the behavior be more automatic. For instance, if you type, you're probably not thinking, if you type well, you're not thinking about where every letter is. When you speak in a conversation, you don't necessarily think of every word before you say it. You just have an idea and you let your mouth go. So those patterns become unconscious once we have the skill ingrained well enough. Now, that's deliberately programming the mind. The mind also gets programmed in a little bit less formal, sort of random ways. As an example, repetition is one way you can get programmed. If you hear something over and over again 1,000 times, it's likely to sink in. Emotion is also a factor in programming. We're more likely to become programmed or to accept suggestions in a highly emotional state or during a highly emotional event. And trust is also a factor. You're more likely to take an idea on from someone who's an authority figure in a particular field, depending on your personality, or someone that you trust. And as I mentioned earlier when talking about rehearsing a skill, deliberate, intense focus on an idea or skill tends to program you. Now, before we get into hypnosis, let's talk about what stops programming. And really, the best way to stop programming is with critical thought. Our conscious minds act as kind of a guard at the gate and stop new ideas from coming in. Children don't have this critical factor really well developed, so they will have a tendency to believe almost anything that adults around them say. But you wouldn't think that way. If someone said to you, pigs grow wings and they can fly, you would probably say, no, that's not my idea of how the world works. I don't believe that, and you would reject that idea. So as we grow older and we develop belief systems, we learn about how the world works, we develop a critical factor that guards our internal beliefs and keeps new ideas from being accepted willy-nilly. Some people are not too good at this, and that's why we have people accepting ideas that to us are obviously untrue. So that's how you stop programming, but there's another way to program yourself quickly and effectively if you want to, and that is hypnosis. So exploring further the metaphor at the guard at the gate, again, the guard at the gate protects our existing worldviews, but what if we want to get an idea into our unconscious mind that isn't in our current worldview? Well, hypnosis is one way to do that. Now, hypnosis involves generally an induction process which allows the guard at the gate to relax and to trust and to step out of the way so that you can get new ideas directly into the unconscious mind where programming happens without that critical factor stopping them. So it's important to work with someone, or if you're hypnotizing yourself, hopefully you trust yourself. If you're working with a hypnotherapist or a hypnotist, work with someone that you trust so that you can trust the ideas that they give you. Although there's really not much to worry about, because if you hear a suggestion that you don't like, that you don't agree with, you can always raise your critical factor back up and say, no, I reject that suggestion. So hypnosis is getting that guard at the gate to relax and getting an idea into the unconscious mind and focusing on it intensely so that it becomes programmed and part of the inner reality. We can also attach powerful, positive emotions to the idea of achieving a goal so that you're motivated and you're ready to go. Not only is it your inner reality, but you have lots of good feelings motivating you toward achieving it. And that's hypnosis in a nutshell. It's wrapping the mind intently around a concept and making it the inner reality so that the mind is oriented toward achieving the goal. If you enjoyed this, hit like or subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.